Welcome to Podcast on TechNation. This is a series of podcasts focused specifically on the biomedical and HTM industry. Episodes will be added monthly. Listening to each episode is eligible for 1 CE credit from the ACI, and at the conclusion of this episode, you will be able to access a survey that would appear under this episode's title. You'll be able to download your certificate once you submit the survey. Before we begin today's podcast, I'd like to invite you to our fall MD Expo. We will be in New England from October the 8th to the 10th, so please visit mdexposhow.com for event details and registration information. Podcast on TechNation would like to thank IFS Ultimo and the Bearded Biomed for today's interview. IFS Ultimo believes that happy and productive technicians and operators are the backbone of profitable, sustainable businesses. IFS Ultimo EAM makes the lives of these frontline VIPs easier by minimizing admin time, maximizing wrench time, and automating workflows. Their powerful EAM solution enables more than 100,000 technicians and operators worldwide to access and process relevant information on the spot. You can find more information at ultimo.com. In this episode, we are joined by Vincent Light, Product Manager at IFS Ultimo, and Mike Myers, Pre-Sale Solutions Consultant for IFS Ultimo, interviewed by Chase Torres, host of the Bearded Biomed podcast.
Bearded Biomed.
Everybody, you are joining us live at the MD Expo. It's your favorite host of your favorite podcast, Bearded Biomed. I am joined by the team at Ultimo. Appreciate you sitting down at the booth with me so we can discuss. I want to know everything there is about Ultimo. What do you guys do?
We are originally based in the MD Expo. So with Ultimo, you can manage your assets and ensure regulations, etc.
So my history was helping write a CMMS way back in the day for healthcare, and then supporting it for 15 years. So long history of using it. So what Ultimo gives you is, and it's one of the talking points probably today, is it's an EAM and not a CMMS.
Gotcha.
There's a lot more to it that it can do. It gives you that configurability that you're looking for. It's giving a lot of things that I looked for when I was a customer, in things that I was asked for when I was selling other products. It was really good that when I joined Ultimo, I'm like, oh, wow, it's already there. This is going to make my job a lot easier. It's been around for 35 years over in the Netherlands. It's in use in 80% of the healthcare facilities in the Netherlands. But we're just coming into the United States. And
Okay. I got a plethora of questions for you. I'm a biomed by trade, so I'm very familiar with asset management, CMMS database. I train a lot of my technicians to use CMMS. Our company that I work for right now, we utilize Navolo.
okay,
ServiceNow
based, yeah.
Let's start off with why transition from, obviously business expansion, growth, and expansion.
Mhm.
But what prompted you guys to move from Netherlands to tackle the U.S. market?
Well, I'm from the U.S., so I'm going to let Vincent handle this one.
Well, like Mike said, we have most of the hospitals in the Netherlands as customers, so there's not much to conquer there. And I think we can add something to the market as you look at what we offer in comparison to trying to do here.
And how many countries is Ultimo in right now?
I don't know. It's globally being used.
Well, all throughout Europe, so it's not just the Netherlands. So the Netherlands is the home base,
Right?
Literally, it's being used all over the world.
Well, I imagine it's just an earshot from everywhere else in Europe. So, the first thing I have to ask is, because I get approached by a lot of CMMS companies. There's, especially in the United States, there's quite a handful of them. So I guess first off is, what would you guys say separates Ultimo from some of the other essentially competitors in the United States?
So for me, based on the fact that I wrote one before, used one before, the biggest thing is things that I had mentioned, things that I had asked for forever in the CMMS and in the EAM, Ultimo provides it for you. You're getting that ServiceNow interface capability that Navolo is giving you without having to worry about running on a ServiceNow platform, which can be a little difficult to make modifications with. It's extremely configurable. I've worked with systems that you can create your own custom field for. You can create your own custom tables, your own custom drag and drop workflow. So you can create buttons on your forms that, hey, my techs are doing these 5 steps every time. Can I condense it into one button? You can have different contexts. So your facilities can use the same tables as your biomed departments would, but have their own screens and their own context on what the naming conventions are and what shows up in what menus. So it's extremely flexible, extremely
nomenclature can differ quite just in different spectrums of different departments in a medical facility. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
What level of customization is there? Well, obviously there's a lot. The reason I asked that is, for instance, our company with using Navolo, we actually have a custom version of it where we have one of our senior biomeds, actually he codes for it.
Mm-hmm.
With the customization aspect of Ultimo, is it user-based customization, or is there some level of admin that you guys are having to dignify for that?
A system administrator of Ultimo who has access to the configuration tool. So we have a separate Ultimo configuration key, and there you can configure Ultimo, and if you are authorized, you can modify the screen from there. Because we don't want that, every user can change the screen. I mean, that would be the
right.
So therefore, only certain people can modify the screens.
And then I'm only comparing you guys to ServiceNow just because they're one of the biggest ones,
right?
Because there's so many little ones out there, and the thing with CMMS, especially for biomeds, is it's very subjective. Just because people want different things, and that's why the customizable aspect makes you guys so marketable. What has been, some headaches that you're encountering within the U.S. market, along with how is integration progressing with some of the companies putting this into place?
Yeah. So obviously the biggest thing that we have right now is that while it's super well known in Europe, it's new to the United States. And in industries and verticals like manufacturing, where they'll look at any CMMS and decide what works for them. In healthcare, you want to have heard of the program before. You want to have talked to someone who you know and respect who uses that software. So the biggest roadblock or the biggest headache that I have coming in is I have this great tool that I just need to get people to take a look at. So
word of mouth aspect. And then also when you start getting into some of those larger integrated healthcare systems, it's, I hate to say it, sometimes pay to play. You gotta get on that vetted vendor list.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So
and we're
looking at that.
That's a challenge.
It is. And we're working towards that, and we have we have deals that are in the works that we're working with to get in there. But yeah, that's the biggest headache so my biggest goal here at MD Expo is to give a taste of what Ultimo can do and say, hey, give us a shot. Bring us in, let us show you what it can do. If you don't like it, hey, you checked off one of the vendors that you needed to get that you've looked at. But everyone who I've shown it to has been like, oh my God, I've been looking for that forever. I wish my system could do that. One of the things that I put down, I came up with some power messaging was, we provide today what your vendor currently has been promising you, but have the ability.
I'm happy with our product now, but to be fair, it took several years to get the product to where we needed it to be. And that's very much a case in CMMS in general. It's overpromised and ends up being underdelivered a lot of the time.
Yes.
I want to add something because I'm from product management in the Netherlands. So we develop the product there, and we are constantly making, new features, additions to the product to make it better. Our product is cloud only. So if you are on the cloud as a customer, as soon as a new edition is ready, you get it. So you don't have to wait for months or years. You can make use of it. And we are also very, actively involving customers to get feedback on our product and our roadmap to see, okay, what should be better.
Yeah, I just to add on that, the thing that blew me away when I started working for them is The roadmap is like a circular file at most vendors. Hey, we're working on this until another priority comes up, and then we throw it away. Every quarter, he sits down with, it's Chris, right?
Yeah.
So he sits down with Chris, his job is what?
He's the team leader.
So he's the team leader for product management and the product manager for Ultimo. Sit down and have an hour-long call, a video call with customers and with our consultants, and pull up the roadmap and what have we done in the past quarter, what has been moved, and why. What are we looking at? Where are we coming from? I've never had a roadmap this detailed and this accountable in a software CMMS ever, because
you're pulling at my heartstrings, man, because
used to being lied to.
I distinctly remember the roadmap during integration, and it was a 1.2, or it was 1, 2, 3, 4. There was not a lot of finite detail because I think they purposely laid out enough wiggle room to where they can dance around the subject. So the fact that you're saying that you have this very detailed roadmap is encouraging. Now, like I said, CMMS, very subjective. Some do things better than others.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just list off a few things that I know just that we use from our database, and let me know if there's nothing that you guys don't cover. So, of course, we have asset management, which is, a pretty broad term, but, you can go with life cycle, capital asset planning, procurement. You have purchase orders, of course, the service aspect of it with scheduled and unscheduled preventive maintenance.
Right.
What about network integration with tracking, like, RFID?
Yeah, 100% of the modules in Ultimo have REST APIs available so that it can be integrated with every system. We've integrated with hundreds of different vendors around the world, so not a problem. We have track and trace built into the system that can interface with whatever.
That's a cost savings in of itself. Because a lot of that tracing, the installation is where it gets very pricey really quick. So what's something that you guys would say you don't currently have but is on the horizon, or that you hear a lot of people asking for that's not a typical norm?
Why don't I start this one, and then I'll hand it, then you can expand on it.
Yeah, sure.
So on the last roadmap call that we had, they showed the feature, and it's not on the roadmap yet, but it's more further developed than most of the roadmap items that I've seen from other vendors. And it's integrating the Chat GPT, the open API for the AI into it. And they have a prototype that they were showing on the video where they're putting in, hey, based off of the past 12 months, the corrective maintenance work orders that we had, what items should we be taking a closer look at? You could obviously, with something like that, you can go in and say, what should we start looking at maybe for implementing an AEM for? Where would we have the most bang for our buck? So that's the thing on the roadmap not on the roadmap, but on the horizon, is integrating AI intelligently, because you're going to need, one, the biomed and the biomed manager's knowledge to ask the right questions of the AI to get the most out of it. But he's involved in doing it. I just saw a video, so I'll let you talk more about it.
Yeah, sure. Everyone is talking about AI, and of course we are looking into it because I really think it can add value to the product. But why it's not? Well, it's considering. So we are really, experimenting with it and see how a user can benefit from it. I think that's the key voice. It should help you in your work.
Well, since you guys are implementing it, what are some of the uses or real-time effects of implementing AI into your system that you could see be beneficial for people?
Yeah, I think the one of the most concrete use cases is like, troubleshooting. So if you are maybe, an inexperienced biomed working on an asset, that you can ask the system, okay, tell me what's happened before in the past. What is the fault-free breakdowns,
So it's pulling from past work orders.
Yes, yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so you'd have 10 hospital systems. Someone at one hospital dealt with a problem before. Someone else gets it. They haven't seen it before. They could ask, has this type of issue come up for this model, manufacturer, or whatever? And it'll prompt them right to where it was. And they can
see that could go a step further as well, because as a manager, I tend to not investigate, but when I see repeat offenses of the same kind of repairs occurring over and over again, either something's not being completely identified, or it's either a failure of the user, or maybe a training might need to be implemented. Like using that AI to help identify that without having to go navigate and track down that data, that could be very beneficial, especially for life cycle management too of the devices.
The risk, and not only the physical but the financial risk to the hospital.
Yes.
And say, hey, I need 3 initiatives for the coming year based off of reducing our risk as much as we can, our financial risk to the hospital, which is probably going to be the rad rooms, UCT scans.
Yeah.
But now it can do that number crunching behind the scenes and let you know, hey, this is where you might want to look to avoid those risks going forward. So it's got so many applications that it can have. And I love that they already have a system that they're playing with in Ultimo. I can't wait for them to make a decision to go forward.
And what we're now trying to do is, actually involve some of our customers to get their data and see, how does it work with real data? Because, that's of course the challenge that it, actually helps you and that you're not frustrated by, I'm getting the wrong answer. I mean, if you do that 3 times and it's not helping you, then you get it away. And we want to avoid that, of course.
And then I want to come back. You guys kind of alluded to it a little bit, but just based on what's currently out there, where are we dropping the ball when it comes to CMMS database management as a whole, to where you guys see something that is obviously identifiable, but it's not really being taken care of the way it should?
Yeah, there's like so many things. One of the big things for me is, and actually we have a trend special report that's available that people can download and read, is more managers right now are focused on keeping their older equipment running than they are about improving their processes in reducing risk. And I get it, because of the way you have to do more with less people right now. Biomeds have to, they're supporting more devices than ever. Every year they're supporting more devices, and your size of the people working it are shrinking. So we have to give you the tools available so that you can do more with less, so that now we can start looking at how can we make improvements on how we're doing things operationally and keep that older equipment running.
Well, it's very much a causality relationship too, right?
Right.
How much risk are you willing to incur, and how much money are you willing to spend to lower that risk? And that's the finite dance that, unfortunately, a lot of biomeds don't have a lot of say in, depending on your situation, even though we're the ones running the CMMS. So
well, that's one of the beauties about moving from a CMMS to an EAM is you've probably seen the EAM maturity curve. The further you get to the right of that curve, the more ammunition you have to have a seat at that table when it comes to making those decisions. Yep. So you need a system that's not only going to let you do your job and close out your work orders. Everyone wants to, we have mobile and it runs on the iOS and Android and connected and disconnected. But by growing with your system and getting an EAM that can help you grow and address all those areas to move you from proactive or from, God forbid, reactive, all the way up to where you're getting ultimate and predictive, it's going to give you that seat at the table, because the hospital's going to see what a difference that you're making. And you're not just going to be an expense, a cost center anymore. And it's going to give you that voice to make those decisions, help make those decisions.
Well, I've noticed a trend too, and I mean, it's always been a trend, but probably more prevalent than ever, is risk used to be the end all be all. Like that's what everybody cared about. And as healthcare has grown, there's been a shift in mentality of cost is more important than risk. Now, not always the case, but I'm a third-party biomed. I am in a lot of different facilities, and the number one driving factor has always been cost.
It is cost. And our trend special shows that. It's far and away the biggest factor.
By implementing a system like Ultimo, yes, cost is important, especially because I'm in a lot of rural health facilities, and we've had so many close in Texas especially. I think implementing something like what you guys are offering can help teeter that back to where risk and cost are both that equally important.
Right. You keep track of both of them. You'll be able to report on both of them, and then you can say, all right, obviously we have to keep these high risk assets, financial risk assets up and running, but where are we dropping the ball as a biomed team when it comes to protecting the patient and patient safety when it comes to cost? And you need something that can take all of that data and make it useful to you. I see a lot of systems that track a lot of data, but don't do a lot with it.
Yeah.
So that's a big part.
Yeah, here's the bucket of everything we can provide to you, and a lot of it you're probably never going to use or look at. Now, you guys bring a lot to the table for the people that are making the decisions to implement your EAM. My primary audience is biomeds, of course.
Right.
What are some of the things that you've heard from biomed technicians that they love about y'all's system? I mean, so for instance, when I'm in the field as a technician, but I am also a manager. I love the fact of being able to see the workflow of work being taken to assigning to if repairs needed, purchase orders, all the way towards resolution, and then doing cost analysis at the end,
right,
tracking KPIs. But from a person that's in there doing the daily work of closing PMs and doing what are some of the things that you think they would enjoy about it?
Really, the mobile app they are a big fan of because even that is configurable. So if you don't like what's there, you can. So you can literally pull up, and we had just done this for a customer the other day. It was a configuration, but it was really easy. They just pull it up and it was like, hey, show me work orders that are near me. And it tied in the RFID and it showed them all the work orders.
So y'all have a 100% functioning mobile app that ties into the...
It is, like I said, connected, disconnected.
That is
iOS,
very interesting.
Android.
Because I know a company that we're currently using that still doesn't have a functioning mobile app. That is I will tell you right now, that is a huge sell point for a biomed.
Yeah. And it's big, and you can download the information you want. And so let's say you're going off and you're going to be disconnected.
Yep.
You can download what you want ahead of time, but it's also downloading the PDFs. So, oh yeah, well, I know there's a work order, but I can't get it to PDF. It has
I like the aspect of it being web-based, but let's be frank, there are some facilities out there that don't have good connection.
Right.
And then you still end up working off of paper.
Right. Where's the biomed shop? In the basement.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have both. So we have the mobile web version of the app of Ultimo, but also the native app, and the native app can work offline. So you can pull your work orders, download them on your device, and then start working on them. And if you are back online again, you can sync it.
Yep. Something else the techs love with the mobile. You can open up a work order, and right from there you can connect to any of your teammates on Teams. So you can open up a Teams chat from the work order in Ultimo. And then say, who do I want to talk to? And it'll pull it from them, and it opens up the team chat. Hey, I'm working on this. Where's this tool? How did I fix this? Have you seen this before? And so it's keeping track of everything.
That sounds cool besides Teams. I'm not a big Teams fan, but other than that.
I know. I told him we gotta work on other options, but
that's just a personal preference. I'm sure
it's configurable. We can use other ones, but it's there. It's working on Teams, so you can see. It's not, we're going to look into that. We can make it happen. No, we've made it happen. We just have to make it happen for whatever one you want to use.
I have to give you all a hash mark on something. So,
no, that's okay.
One thing for anybody that's watching, listening, I want to get some of these resources that you guys have out there, like your trade report and just other information you think could be beneficial. I assume y'all have a sign up for a live demo, all that kind of jazz. So I'll get that information. It'll be down in the link of the episode. If anybody wants to learn more, sign up for the live demo.
Absolutely. I'm easy enough to find at michael.myers@ultimo.com. So easy to remember. The killer on Halloween, just like that, the same spelling. You can always reach out to me and I can answer any questions you have. If you need to get over any humps to set up that demo.
And then I guess the last thing is, do you guys have a company slogan or an anecdote or a quote or anything? Because I'm going to pitch one to you. Just say, Ultimo, we have a working mobile app.
My favorite one, and it's just funny, is they wanted a pitch. And I was like, we deliver today what your vendor's promising you for tomorrow.
Oh, actually, yeah, that's pretty good.
So in the translation, if you come to our booth in the back, they changed that in translation to a CMMS that fulfills your wildest dreams and fantasies. So Yeah, I don't know if I go that far, but unless your dreams and fantasies are related to getting your arms around your work and making having the information you want, we can make that happen.
It might work for some people. You never know.
We're in Vegas. We're in Vegas.
I appreciate y'all stopping by the booth. Think I might need to just get some info and see it in action. And then maybe we can do another video as well. I appreciate you stopping by. It's been a pleasure to meet you, sir.
All right, thanks.
Bearded Biomed.
Thank you for a great presentation. If you enjoyed today's episode, you might enjoy our ongoing Webinar Wednesday webinar series. You can find a calendar of upcoming live webinars, as well as an archive of on-demand webinars at webinarwednesday.live. To obtain your certificate for 1C credit from the ACI, please remember to complete and submit the survey located below the podcast title. If you have any questions, you can reach us at webinar@mdpublishing.com.